Ladies and gentlemen, this is Bandile James. It's Dating Podcast. Today ngizobe ngikhuluma noSebungani Luvalo, the founder of Colders Foundation, umbhali wencwadi, a founder, a stranger. Uzobe sitshela nge-fatherhood, as encourager namanye about abobaba ukuthi like how to be there for the kids. And if like there is something you need to do, uzobe sitshela ukuthi wenza kanjani if your baby mama akafuni ukuthi bhekane inxusi yakho. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you.
Uyaphila Bandile.
Yeah.
How are you? And sawubona to viewers wakho.
Okay, ngimnandi nami. So abantu abaningi bayiyo ngenye indlela ethi fatherhood. Badescribe ngendlela eningi. So ngingathanda ukuzwa kuwe wathi like fatherhood uthi nje mangadescribe umuntu akubuza ukuthi how is fatherhood?
Taking a responsibility over your seed,
Yeah.
and ensuring that you water it, guide it, nurture it, so that it grows to be a fully fleshed human being. Remember, we're living in a society that has defined roles of what a man is supposed to do in society and what a woman is supposed to do, what a mother is supposed to do, and what a father is supposed to do. And many a times a father's responsibility, a man and a father's responsibility is to ensure that they provide security, they provide shelter, and they provide resources for the well-being of their families. While a mother's responsibility is to ensure that the house is kept warm, kids are fed, and kids have got clean clothes to wear. That is what we grew up to understand our mother's responsibilities to be, and what our father's responsibilities need to be. There are people who would say, my father was there in the house, would go to work and come back and read a newspaper, but would not have conversations with me, would not dance with me. I grew up listening to Brenda Fassie, Mafiki Zolo. Those songs would not be things that people say, I would not dance with my father, you know? And there are those who are going to say, I didn't even know about my father. So you can be present because they are also doing what they know best. And remember I said earlier on that they were taught that being indoor, being a man, and being translated into being a father, it is about provision. So if you can't provide as a man, as a father, then you're not taken seriously as a man. Your masculinity, it's broken down. You're not recognizing the roles that you're supposed to be playing at home. Actually, even your views are not taken serious, because I think there's a song by Unathi Ndodengena Mali, Izwilayal Swakali, that's how our parents and great-grandparents were taught and came to understand as their role. But with us, we're a different generation that expects things to be done differently. Beyond having to ensure that your family is fed, your child is taken care of, school fees is paid, medical bills are paid, extramural activities are paid, we are taking it a notch up. Having to be there physically and emotionally, having to be your friend, a friend to your child, I wouldn't imagine coming back from school and asking my dad about a type saying that I like at school. I would get a smack, But today your daughter can tell you that, I saw Mandla at school. I think Mandla, or I like Mandla, or Mandla likes me. Mandla shares their lunchbox with me, and it's an okay conversation to have. I couldn't have that conversation with my mother. I didn't have a father, so I could only have those kind of conversations with either my mother or my grandmother. I wouldn't imagine telling my grandmother that, hey, I'll get a hiding. So being a father today is about being present emotionally and physically, being there to take your child to school, take your child to the clinic, change diapers, change nappies, feed your child, there are guys who would always wonder, why are you changing nappies to to your child, you know. Even in taxis, there are guys who tell me that, you know, I was with my daughter or my son in a taxi traveling from point A to point B. The infant was still crying and people got irritated in a taxi and they were asking, where's the mother of this child? Because of society does not see men as primary caregivers. That's why even the Children's Act will tell you that the primary caregiver is a mother, you know. But now society has evolved. It is calling for a present father, but the mindset has not shifted to be able to accept Bandile, who takes care of his daughter alone. You know, so it's different times that we are living in, and today, for us to say you are a father, you need to be there physically and emotionally. So you still have to answer to your daughter or to your son why you did those things and how that has disadvantaged them. I'm not trying to make an excuse for people who are absent in their kids' homes, who are not present in their children's lives. We need fathers to be present in their children's lives. And for as long as society only sees men as fit and proper only when they've got money, and they can only relate with us better when we've got money, then unfortunately we're going to continue to have a broken society because of the only form of us relating with each other is means, you know, that we're able to put forward. So we don't necessarily need deadbeat fathers. We don't need present or absent fathers. We need a present father who's going to take up the responsibility of being a father to their own child. And mothers, women, aunts, grandmothers need to afford fathers an opportunity to be fathers to their kids. Because also some of the things that we don't talk about are the cultural constraints that we have.
Yeah.
There are guys who are absent not because of they want to be absent, but because of they were told, so you can't be here.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
There are people who would be told, and look, you didn't just do this alone. You did it with her.
Yes,
She knows the house rules. You know, until you are married or loboliwe, you can't be having kids. If you are Christians, sex before marriage is a sin. You can't have a child out of wedlock. She also knows the rules of this house.
Yeah.
You know, so some of these things we need to understand that they've got to do with both parties. And there are mothers, and this is something that we don't want to talk about, where there are men who are good uncles to their nieces and nephews.
Yes.
And their sisters and their mothers know that Bandile is not being a father to his daughter, but is busy fathering his sister's kids here in the house.
Yeah.
He buys a mashom for these kids, make sure they've got Vaseline and clothes to wear, they go to school, they are fed. But nobody takes time to ask and say, Bandile, ingane yakho, what must happen to her?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So there are many elements that make our society such a broken society.
Yes.
And people think that it is just a straight and narrow thing. Men just don't want to be present. Those who don't want to be present, we must name and shame them.
Yeah.
And we must make men understand that their absence in their children's lives has got one impact. You know?
Yeah.
For me, stats and research, I think I was reading a Sonke Gender Justice report not so long ago. It's saying that fathers of the 21st century, me and you, are better fathers than our fathers.
Yes.
We want to be more involved, you know.
Yeah.
And people will say, no, but why do you want to upload a fish for swimming? Cool. We must be able to say our generation of men are doing better than our fathers, and we must applaud that. And from that, we must then be able to say those who are not doing it must not put this generation into shame. Because this thing of downplaying that every man is a bad person, it's not going to assist us if we want to build a society where fathers are participating, where men are better human beings that can coexist with women without killing them, without raping them, without doing all of these funny things.
Yeah.
Because this thing of us wanting to elevate all the bad things and suppress the good things that are happening or done by men is not going to help us.
Yeah.
And this generation is doing things differently. We are present fathers. Yes, we've got those who are not present.
Yeah.
And we still have challenges around our culture, we still have challenges around our religion, we still have challenges around stereotyping, and all of those things, once we learn and accept that they need to be broken down or removed as barriers in building, a society that has got present fathers, then we're not going to go far.
Yeah. I mean, I've never met my dad's family. I only met my dad last year for the first time after so many years, 20-something years. So he said to me, yo, bruh, my mother wants to see you. So my grandmother. So I said, like, why? Why now? Because Bigagu all along. I feel like now my dad wasn't there for me. Bekayenzani as umama. Yo, like me now, where am I seeing my grandson? What is happening between you and my grandson? When you're working, you're getting 500 per month. When 500 per month ending, in. We talk with Lana as a family, we're talking about when a mama, why ungabuzing ngani yakuthi ukuphi umntanakho. Maybe that bizomenza ukuthi mhlambe abenesifukufuku ukuthi at least let me be there for my kid. But now I feel like my dad was so relaxed because no one is reminding about him ukuthi your son is going whatever. So I feel like at least maybe my grandmom somehow, I'm not sure, I'm not saying that, but maybe somehow she failed me. Why man because okay, my son came. So now for Ian. My fight, the thing that I had between me and my dad. If my dad failed me, my grandma didn't fail me. Why so now I understand Mausi. Nabo sisi abangaba pushi yo please step up and stuff. And I feel like we still need to have, like, we've had conversations out. Yo, bro, when I seeing your kid, how old is your kid and stuff? I think we need to have conversation about mama. Because there are guys with you, bro, I want to be there for my kid, but I can't. The baby mama is doing this and this and this. So I think we need to hear this side about baby mama, why we have out and stuff. Also, know this guy wants to measure like Nimnan. But now you're not doing it for yourself, you're doing it for the kid, like he's growing or she's growing up and stuff. And there are guys that are coming into my DMs, yo, bruh, I lost my job. I want to be there for my kid. But I don't know how. And I understand because I've been there. I know how it feels to call baby mama, yo, bruh, how is the kid? Right. But you can't stand like first cut the seat, like, yo, bro, it's been 8 months when I'm please. So how do you advise those guys who are not working? They still at school, they wanna be there for the kids. But the situation be ukuthi umama akafuni or else bona basatha kancane because they can't provide financially. I want to see the kid. Okay, you get there, I'll next. And obviously, Abu Mama, very cool, as time goes on, they meet a new boyfriend and stuff. So when the new boyfriends come, who's an so and when S-Bab, how's the next? You try to discipline him.
No, but why? Look, it starts with you as a guy. Look, it starts with you as a man to say, this is how, and again, it's not as straight as I would put it now. It has got its complications as you are putting them.
Yeah.
But as a man, you should be able to define how you want to relate with your child. Because if you are going to stop engaging with your child solely because of you don't have something,
yes.
Then which means you are defined by the things you can bring to your child or any other relationship that you are in.
Yeah.
So that's why you will see yourself as not being worthy of going to see your child because of you've got nothing that you're bringing. Listen, let's talk about slave queens just for a second.
Yeah.
There are guys who date slave queens because of their bowlers. They've got money in their pockets.
Yeah.
The very same slave queen that is dating you Bandile is a bowler. Who date me, Bongani, who doesn't have anything. And our relationship is clearly defined. Mamela Mdana, I am not relating with you because of what I can provide for you financially. Me and you can have deep conversations. I am more interested in what you want to do with your life. Because the bowler does not have time to be listening to nonsense. You keep quiet. I'm the one who talks. You don't have, the only time you speak to me is if you want champagne or you want food or you want a refill here. Any other view, I'm not interested in it. So when she talks to me, she's relating with a man who's interested in her. And she will not wake up tomorrow and look for 5,000 rands from me. Because of the relationship is clearly defined from beginning. That I am not the 5,000 type. Me and you can relate as human beings. And we should be able to pour into each other's cup without monies involved. So if that can happen, what then stops us from relating with our kids at that level? And also, don't have that relationship with the mother of your child where you're asking the mother of your child how your child is. You have called, ask her to give the child the phone.
What if the kid is 2 years?
Kids can hear voices. Hi, Nana. Hi, Dada. Even if they are mumbling, for them, it is, the mind must always get used to this voice that this is my father's voice. You know, I have a picture of my daughter. I don't think she was even 4 months, you know, where I was joking with her and literally she was 4 months and she smiled, you know, and to me, I was like, this one, I think she can hear me. Why are you laughing about this joke? You know? So the more time you spend with your child, from the time they're in their mother's womb, it actually builds the bond. So that by the time at 4, at 7, at 10, when people want to tell your daughter or your son stories about you, because of you've been there, no one is going to separate you and your child. Now you can't separate me with my daughter. I've been there since day one. When the doctor confirmed that you are pregnant and said whatever weeks, I've been there. I've been talking to my daughter in her mother's womb. That's why today they can call me and say, your child does not want to go to school. She's sulking. And I say, put her on the phone. And I say, what's wrong, Nana? And she's like, Daddy, 1, 2, 3. And you're like, no, let's resolve it in this way. Let's make a deal. Good. And the mistake that many people do is to try and have a cordial relationship with the mother of your child immediately when you have broken off. Baba, Mamela, she's bitter, you are bitter. So you're not going to be fighting about the child, you're going to be fighting about your own issues and trying to make sense of this relationship that is no longer working. So trying to be cordial with each other is not going to work, at least in the first 6 to 18 months of your relationship with the mother of your child. It's not going to work. Including for her on your side, because of their guys as well who become bad guys. You know, where you are interested in who does she date, where is she, who is she engaging with, trying to control her and so on. Because you have not healed and you have not gotten over that relationship. So for that 6 to 18 months, you can't expect anything better from either of yourselves, because of you are still dealing with somebody who it must dawn on their mind that this relationship is no longer there. So you then have to start asking yourself, how best do I communicate and ensure that I know what is happening in the life of this child? You know, so you've got to try and create communications channels. So I'm saying that your relationship, I can't be asking the mother of my child how my child is if I can talk to my child. The only time you should be asking how is the child is if the child was at the doctor's and there's feedback you are requiring. No, bronchitis. No, the child has got, pneumonia or fever or, stomach cramps or is allergic to 1, 2, 3, 4. Outside of that, you guys are going to get into a petty fight. So, Molo, how are you? Good, thank you. Yes, can I please talk to him or her? Even if the conversation with your child who's 2 years lasts for 30 seconds, they will remember that the sound of my dad's voice is this one.
Yeah,
You understand?
Yeah, I understand.
Until you guys arrive at a stage where you are going to be cordial with each other. And how are you going to be cordial with each other? When you have now come to appreciate that your relationship is no longer about love.
Yeah. So, and I feel like sometimes it works if the relationship was ended by the mother. Because if it's the father, that's when I think, I'm not sure, that's when no, you can't see the kid or whatever. I think they're using the kid to fight the fathers. That's what I think, or I've heard before. But I'm not sure. So now if it happened that I dumped someone and then we fought, and maybe it was my fault. To your point, it's no relationship with my parent here. Now I want to see the kid. No, you can't see the kid.
No, tell her, I'm going to take you to the police. Guys, listen, you see, for your child, as this generation, when they say you can't see your child, like your girlfriend has just gone missing in a club and you're told that your girlfriend left with another guy.
Yeah.
If you can be that crazy that your chick has been taken by another guy in a club and you trace where this guy stays and you actually go and start a fight there. That's how crazy you must be about your child.
Yeah.
You know? Because of, as I said earlier on, that there is a phase where it's going to be bitterness, like the 5 steps of grieving.
Yeah.
You or her will have to go through those stages.
Yeah.
But she needs to understand, but
I think in South Africa everybody knows it. Female will always win. So even if I say my policy and whatever, loser. These other conference.
No. Then you must then come to organizations like ours, Cool Dads Foundation.
Yes.
Look, yes, there are still stereotypes that exist in a police station, and there are still stereotypes that exist in a family court.
Yeah.
But also we can't speak as if those areas are not a little bit progressive. There are guys who would come to us and say, I want access to my child, I've been denied access to my child, and I went to a court. There are guys who go on their own and they'll be able to get custody of their child or co-parenting and so on. But one thing I've learned about us, my daughter, is that we don't like petty fights.
Yeah, for real.
We just think this thing is exhausting. When she is ready for me to have access to my child, then she will give me access to my child.
Yeah.
But we can't keep on using that mentality to say, no, the day she's fine, then I'll continue. But if she's not fine, let me stay away. These are the fights we need to wage.
Yeah.
To say, I can't allow my child, if I must go to court and literally stay there until the magistrate gives me the attention, then you should do that. Yeah. Or you should be able to say, let me reach out to Cool Dads Foundation and say, guys, can you walk with me? Because many guys need that one person who's going to hold them by the hand and say, I will go with you there.
Yeah. Because this one, involved, but also saving
yes. I know, what I'm not abafuni be involved, so it's fine. Angeke be involved. So also we use that as at least I will say that or I've been so that I can start a new life. So we can manipulate that, and there are guys who use that to say, no, she doesn't want me to be involved, or her family does not want me to be involved. But when you get there, they're like, we have never.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's always good to start putting these rules before there is a situation. Because once you put rules when there is a situation, the other person will think that you are reacting to their situation or you are jealous.
Yeah.
For instance, I once sent my uncle to my daughter's mother's house. I don't know, should I say my ex fiance ngesilungu or ingoduso, because beslobolile, so I then said to them, one thing I asked of them to ask the other family was that please tell them that as we move on with life, and we'd already had this conversation about being good parents to our child and was that can can neither of us try and find parents for our child? So don't go and look for a father for my daughter. I'm not going to go and look for a mother for my daughter.
Yeah.
Because of you are there, I am here.
Yeah.
So I don't want Difikile to come and see the child, and I find her hanging in Bandile's car. And Daddy, come, join us. You know, people always joke about this, but it happens.
Yeah, it happens.
You know.
Yeah.
So for me, it's part of the ground rules, and I think people can adopt it if they want to. Can we not introduce kids to our dating partners? If you're in Jola, you don't know whether you are coming or going. Why are you involving the child?
Yes. Yeah.
Look, for me, I can tell you now, my relationship immediately after the mother of my daughter, that person met my child. We dated for 18 months. That person only met my child once. And it was nothing but, and she was still young, very, very young, but it was that thing of, no, I'm picking her up, I'm going to drop her off and drop my daughter off.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
If it's my weekend with my daughter, it's my weekend with my daughter. You have your time with me. So you can't then be involved here. So one of the rules is that we don't introduce kids to dates.
Yeah.
Or I don't know what is umjolo ngesilungu, you know?
Yeah.
Whether courtship. If you guys don't know whether you're coming or going in this relationship, or you're trying to figure things out, why are you involving kids? You can't be figuring things with kids, you know? So date until you arrive at a point where you're like, no, Usintaulele is going, I'm going to marry Sintaulele. Or if you don't believe in marriage, you think you guys are going to move in together, then that's when we can have a conversation of the child meeting this person. Yeah. But before even my child meets this person, I must know about this person.
Yeah.
So you must call me, Bongan. I'm dating Bandile, and me and Bandile are now in a serious level, the way we're thinking of moving in together, or we are going to get married.
Yeah.
Then I must come and meet Bandile.
You meet this boyfriend, yeah?
Yes, I must meet this potential husband to be or live-in partner. Because of, let me tell you, I'm going to tell you, let me park here. So I then asked them that, can my daughter not be found hanging at another man's car? Not that it was happening. I was just saying, as part of the rules and an understanding, a child must not be introduced to Indozom John. 2, we should be able to have our parents assisting us in coordinating the access to the child. You know? And for me personally, I decided that there are things that I don't want to talk to the mother of my child about, because of one way or the other, we are going to end up fighting about this. So it's better, certain things, certain communication, I engage in that communication with the grandparents. I engage a certain communication with my mother, and I ask my mother to be the conduit to pass the information. Then there are things which I would raise with her and have a conversation with her. Question of where the child must go to school, the question of a child having sleepovers at friends' places, question of a flu, the child is not well, and so on and so on. Or asking about clothes. Hey, what do you think the child needs? What can I add? Because you are the one that stays with her. So on the drawer, you would know what is missing, or you would want me to replenish. So there are conversations that I would have with her, and there are conversations I would have with her parents, and there are conversations I'll have with my own parents, so that the communication here becomes a bit seamless and easy. Because if you are not going to isolate issues and identify things that make you Nikaban, remember that you have been in a relationship with this woman.
Yeah.
So there are things that have been a pain when you guys were still seeing each other. And one reason or the other, you have found yourself or arrived at a conclusion that you can't see each other anymore. You can't be in a relationship. So now you need to be awoke to all of those type of issues and say, how do I address these things? You know?
Yeah.
So also, once you have laid these ground rules on how best you must engage with each other, I, as Bongane, I would want to meet this Bandile. You know why I want to meet Bandile?
Yeah.
Bandile is going to be a father to my daughter.
Yeah.
Whether I like it or not, she is in my daughter's life.
Yeah.
one way or the other, I will want to come and fetch my daughter on a Friday. The mother could be engaged somewhere else, and the person was in Bandile.
Yeah.
I must know you. Hi, how are you? My name is Bongani Bandile. How are you doing? I'm good. Great stuff. I'm the father to your partner's child, and I would love for us to have a cordial relationship.
Yeah.
Say, okay, let's say she's involved with you. I have my own partner. My partner and I agree that we can afford for the child to go to, what's this expensive school? St. Augustine School. Yeah. And I could afford to pay for the child in this marriage and my daughter at St. Augustine House. But you as Bandile, now being the stepfather to my daughter and the kids in the house, you can't afford to pay for St. Augustine House for the rest of the kids.
Yeah.
Do I then take my daughter and say, no, my daughter must go to St. Augustine's house solely because of when you can't afford St. Augustine's house? Or should I allow my child to join the rest of the kids in this household wherever they are going to attend school?
Yeah. But I think with a discipline, when the biological father, mina lana nabantwana by-3 nowakho wesi-4, and then when we are like more active than umntanakho, like maybe each and every weekend coming taking the kid, taking my phone. I can't buy a phone for my kid.
The rules are that there's no phone in this house. If you want to talk to your child, you call me or you call the mother of the child.
Yo. I think I saw myself with my daughter. As long as I'm still alive.
Never is a big word, Bandile, because of if the mother of the child is still alive and at any point in time she can arrive in your daughter's life.
I know.
And once there's nothing that can stop her, even if it's 15 years from now, when your daughter should be what, 6, 7, 10 years from now, or 8 years from now, I don't want to be in my daughter's life. You can't stop her.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And also she comes with her own relationship, which has got its own ground rules that you are in. And that's why it's important for you guys to engage each other. Because I can afford to buy an iPad for all the kids in this house.
Yeah.
I've bought iPads for 4 kids in this house. But when she leaves, she can't go with this iPad because of where she's going. There are 3 kids.
Yeah.
This iPad is about Louisa. So even myself, I'm not matured, I'm being childish by allowing her to take this iPad to the other house.
Yeah.
You understand? She must know, no, this iPad, we will still find it here when you come back. You understand? Yeah. Unless you've got enough money to buy 4 iPads that must go to the other household. And you must call first and say, hey, Bandile, I'm here, I've got a friend who could buy iPads in the back door. I can afford to buy all the kids' iPads. I want to add the 3 of your kids so that 4 of the kids in your house have got iPads. Are you comfortable with that?
Okay.
And this Bandile says, in my house, kids will only start attending to gadgets when they are 16. It's a no, and you must respect Bandile for that.
So, if he only comes maybe twice a week,
that's what it is.
So I say
you can't have your bread buttered in all sides. Yeah. If you are co-parenting, life on its own is hard, Bandile. There are things that you would love to do, but you can't do them. Clearly up now. You know? So what makes you think that in co-parenting it will just be a seamless exercise? It comes with its own curves, it comes with its uphills and downhills. You just need to adjust and stop being childish. And I think at times we go to these things with egos, trying to prove a point to each other. The day we stop trying to prove points to each other, a child can live without a Gucci shoe. A child can live without a Nike shoe. Yeah. Or you can actually go to Small Street and get every child a Nike. With one pair of Nike you could have bought at Nike. You can take that money and go to Small Street and buy 6 pairs of Nikes and let all these kids have Nike. Yeah. So it can't be a question. We can't be behaving like spoiled brats where it's either things happen my way or nothing. Once you are co-parenting, you must know that you are dealing with now 2 people. The mother of your child and their partner. And you might find that you're dealing with somebody who comes from Tuzuma. Or you're dealing with somebody who comes from Venda.
Yeah.
Who have got a different socializing.
Yeah.
And what it will take is for the two of you to sit like this, like men. We don't have to be each other's friend.
Yeah.
I don't even care. But the most important thing is that there are days when I'm going to come to your house and I'm going to find you. But also it becomes easier for you that if tomorrow at 6:30 I so happen to call your wife, who's the mother of my child, you would be comfortable to understand that there's nothing else Bongane is discussing with my wife except parenting.
Yeah.
Either the collection of the child, or there's some communication from Eskolweni, or this or that or that. If you're not going to create some cordial relationship with me, you're not going to enjoy your relationship.
Yeah.
Because you're going to imagine the things that you are capable. Remember that as guys we think in pictures. And most of the time we're not frustrated by what our women can do. We're frustrated by the things we are capable of doing.
Yeah.
You understand? So you'll be imagining these things on your own because of you have not built you don't even know that Bongan is no longer interested in women. I'm now interested in men.
Yeah.
Or Bongan is no longer interested and he's satisfied with this one relationship of his woman at his house. Here he does not. So until we are able to sit down, and even women, call my partner so that if Mdana must get a hair changed or washed or a new hairstyle is done, you understand that this thing was done not because of she wants to spite you as the mother of the child.
Yeah.
You understand? She was doing it because she thought it's a nice thing to do. The child wants to have the hair done. What does it hurt for me to pay 200 rand and the child's hair is done? Or she can pick up the phone and call, hey, Mama Kamdana, actually I'm going to the salon. I don't know, is it okay if I join for a hairstyle? She says yes. Or she says no, actually 1, 2, 3, or last week she must not relax her hair, or whatever the tip could be. But no, don't do this. But it can only be a working relationship if you are bringing rules of engagement that says at the end of the day we can't get rid of each other, and the person that we must be mindful and thoughtful of is the child. That's the only way for us to maneuver and navigate cooperating. It's not an easy exercise. It needs us to be matured. It needs us to be selfless. It needs us to respect each other.
Yeah, I understand. So now, kunelento leyokuthi a girl child and a boy child are different. Ngendlela abaphatha ngayo. So to your father raising a girl child and to your father raising a boy child, which one do you think it's easier or it's better than a?
Inside the house?
Yeah, inside the house.
None. Yeah. Outside the house, you are met with people who've got their own stereotypes, their own cultural practices, their own, rules and regulations on how kids must be. In my house, there's no pink and blue. Same color. My daughter will come and say, the blue is for boys. We have long gone past that conversation with my daughter. I don't only buy teapots. I buy guns, I buy knives. Very soon I'll be taking her to the shooting range. I still take her for manicure and pedicure when schools are closed. She chooses her own hairstyle. She wears gumboots. She does horse riding. So in my house, there's no, I don't want to be. If tomorrow she says she wants to be a Makeza, she wants to drive a taxi from her father's company, she must go and drive a taxi.
Yeah.
If tomorrow she wants to go and play boxing, she must go and do it. So even when I buy toys, I don't try and limit the mindset. What if my daughter, when she's 16, she tells me, Dad, I don't like boys. I like girls.
Yeah.
And because of you've been trying to control her from the youngest of age, you're going to collapse on that day. Because of you were never prepared for her to take any other direction except what you had imagined her being.
Yeah.
So in my house, I don't have ground rules, but girls don't do this. I don't tell my daughter, sit properly. What is sit properly? If she wants to sit upside down on the couch, she sits upside down on the couch.
Yeah.
If she wants to jump on the stairs, as long as she understands that if she falls, she'll break herself, or she must pick herself up, I'll say, I'm sorry. She must understand that. But there's no, don't do this. It's only for boys, not in my house. Want to bake, we bake. Yeah. That's it. So for me, it's easier inside the house than outside, because of outside then people are going to tell you umphathiso komfana, you know, or umphathiso kwentombazana, because of they've got their own views on how a girl is supposed to behave, on how a girl is supposed to behave, and what not a boy is not supposed to do, and so on. So in my house there are not those kind of rules. We create our own rules.